The stadium went silent. Millions watched in disbelief. Gerrit Cole stared down the batter, returning from Tommy John surgery with the weight of the Yankees season on his shoulders. And in one unforgettable 10-strikeout performance, he didn't just silence the critics. The entire sports world changed. Welcome to HAUP Sports.
Yeah, it was.
Join Jordan and Jamie as they uncover the biggest stories in sports, from legendary performances and shocking controversies to locker room drama, trades, rivalries, and the moments that redefine the game. We dive deep into the stories behind the athletes, teams, and headlines shaping the sports world.
It's genuinely rare to witness a singular game that forces the entire baseball ecosystem to just, reevaluate what they thought they knew about human performance.
Right, and that is exactly the mission of today's deep dive. We're pulling from top sports journalism, FOX Sports, MLB.com, StatMuse, Empire Sports Media, plus some brilliant statistical models from Russell Carlton.
Yeah, and Mike Petriello's data, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for you listening, whether you follow the Yankees or not, this isn't just a New York story. We are looking at a fascinating anomaly. We're going to unpack Gerrit Cole's mechanical miracle, how Carlos Rodon survived on the mound when his body essentially betrayed him, and the bizarre physics behind Aaron Judge breaking the new automatic strike zone.
It's really a cohesive story of a team that's actively defying modern trends. Like, every team is pushing for pure high-tech optimization, but what we're seeing here is a masterclass in old-school discipline.
Overriding the machines, basically.
Exactly. Overriding the machines.
So let's start with the physical reality of what just happened in Kansas City. The headline alone is staggering. Gerrit Cole fans 10, Yankees blank Royals 7-0, which extends this brutal 14-game winning streak against KC.
It's total domination.
It is. But to understand why this matters, we have to talk about the physical trauma of Tommy John surgery. Because, a lot of fans hear that term and just think, oh, okay, he needs a year off to rest and ice it.
Right, they think it's just rehab. But it is a massive structural reconstruction. The ulnar collateral ligament, the UCL, is essentially the rubber band holding the hinge of your elbow together.
And pitching just destroys it.
Completely. When a pitcher throws a baseball at 98 miles per hour, the torque on that ligament is literally past the breaking point of human anatomy. Eventually, it just snaps.
Wow. So how do they fix it?
Well, surgeons actually drill holes into the bones of the elbow. Then they thread a tendon, usually taken from a different part of the body, or even a donor, in this figure-8 pattern to build a brand new ligament.
Oh, man. So you're throwing a baseball with a grafted piece of anatomy, and Cole is 35 years old.
Yeah, he's not a kid anymore.
Right. So he comes back from the surgery. His first start was solid, 6 scoreless innings against Tampa Bay. But people were still wondering, can he still dominate? Does he still have that ace-level stuff?
And then he goes to Kansas City.
And throws 79 pitches over 6 2/3 innings, striking out 10 batters. But Jamie, the stat that just blew my mind, 0 walks.
And that, right there, is the biomechanical triumph. Because when a pitcher returns from UCL reconstruction, the velocity usually comes back first.
Like the arm is strong again.
Exactly. But what takes the longest to return is proprioception.
Proprioception.
Yeah, it's that microscopic neurological feel of the baseball rolling off the fingertips. That's your command. So to throw 79 pitches, strike out 10, and walk nobody, that means Cole wasn't just throwing hard.
He knew exactly where it was going.
Right. He had absolute pinpoint neurological control over a surgically repaired elbow.
Which means the Royals were essentially swinging at ghosts all night. The closest they got to scoring was in the 3rd inning. Michael Massey hits a double, right? Then Michael Garcia rips a single to right field.
Looking like a guaranteed run.
Exactly. You think they're on the board, but Aaron Judge fields it cleanly and just guns Massey down at the plate. Textbook throw.
And that kind of play breaks the spirit of an offense.
It has to, right? You finally get a hit off this guy, you round the 3rd, and the doors instantly slam shut.
Yeah, because when a pitcher is executing with that level of surgical precision, the defense elevates their focus. They don't want to be the ones to ruin the masterpiece.
Right. Nobody wants to make an error behind a guy throwing a gem.
Exactly. It creates this psychological feedback loop that just completely suffocates the opposing team.
So the Yankees sweep the Royals. They've won 22 of their last 23 series against them, which is just absurd ownership. And the offense backed Cole up beautifully. You had rookie Ben Rice hitting an RBI triple, Ryan McMahon blasting a 2-run homer.
They gave him all the run support he needed.
But here is the piece of the puzzle I'm struggling to understand. The Yankees winning with a fully healthy Gerrit Cole makes total sense.
Sure.
But they played most of the season without him. I mean, Cole returning is great. It's like dropping a Ferrari engine into a car that's already winning the race. But how did they not completely collapse while their ace was rehabbing?
Because they built this absolute statistical fortress in his absence. If we look at the data, before Cole even returned, the Yankees already led all of baseball with a 1.81 starting pitching ERA.
Wait, 1.81 across a starting rotation over months of baseball.
I know, it sounds fake.
It sounds like a mathematical error.
It really does border on the impossible in the modern run-scoring environment. And we know it wasn't just a fluke of, good defensive luck because of their FIP.
Okay, fielding independent pitching. I know baseball analysts love FIP, but for the listener who's just used to looking at ERA, why is FIP a better indicator here?
So ERA can be really noisy. Say a pitcher induces a ground ball, but the shortstop fumbles it.
Right. An error?
Well, sometimes it's not ruled an error, just a bad play. The inning extends, the pitcher gives up a hit, and suddenly they get charged with an earned run.
Even though they did their job and got the grounder.
Exactly. FIP strips all of that away. It assumes league average defense and only looks at the three things the pitcher actually has absolute control over. Strikeouts, walks, and home runs. And the Yankees had a league-leading 2.57 FIP. They were just dominating the mechanics of the at-bat.
Meaning they were missing bats and limiting free passes. Plain and simple.
Precisely. You had guys like Max Fried stepping in and posting a 1.35 ERA, and Luis Gil putting up a microscopic 27-0 ERA in May.
Wow.
They didn't just survive without Cole. They created a pitching culture that Cole had to seamlessly step back into.
So Cole is back to being an ace, but what happened on the mound in West Sacramento a few nights later shocked everyone and proved this rotation has a completely different kind of grit. And honestly, that's not even the craziest part of the Yankees season. Later in the deep dive, we'll break down the controversial new umpire tech that fans still can't stop arguing about, and how Aaron Judge is quietly hacking the system.
Yeah, that West Sacramento game is the perfect counterpoint to the Gerrit Cole masterpiece.
It really is.
Because we're looking at Carlos Rodon pitching on a Friday night against the Athletics. And unlike Cole's surgical precision, this game started as an absolute disaster for Rodon.
Oh, ugly is an understatement. The headline reads, "Arms matching bats might," as Rodon fires the Yankees' sixth straight quality start. But that completely glosses over the panic of those first 3 innings.
Oh, total panic.
He gives up a solo home run to Nick Kurtz immediately. Then he allows a walk and a single in the second. By the 3rd inning, he walks the A's leadoff hitter, Daryl Hernandez, on 4 straight pitches.
Just nowhere near the zone.
4 pitches! Manager Aaron Boone even admitted he was staring at the bullpen thinking, I don't know how long he's going to be out there tonight.
And you have to consider the ripple effect there. If your starter collapses in the 3rd inning, it isn't just about losing that specific game.
Right, your bullpen is toast.
Exactly. Your bullpen has to pitch 6 innings. That exhausts your relief arms for the next 3 days. A short start acts like a virus that infects the rest of the week's schedule.
But Rodon doesn't collapse. He flips a switch. He ends up delivering 6 innings of 1-run ball on 93 pitches in an 8-2 victory.
It was incredible to watch.
And the offense went wild, right? Ben Reyes had a career-high 4 hits and a homer. Goldschmidt hit a 3-run bomb. Meanwhile, Luis Severino started for the A's and got shelled, leaving with arm soreness in the first. But looking at the pitching data for Rodon, he did not have his best stuff.
No, not at all.
His fastball and sinker were down more than 1 mile per hour from their season average. He only got 3 whiffs on 44 swings. Normally, a power pitcher losing velocity is like a shark losing its teeth. How did he survive?
Well, 1 mile per hour might sound trivial to a casual observer, right? But in Major League Baseball, 1 mile per hour is literally the difference between a swinging strike and a ball hit 400 feet into the bleachers.
It makes me think of a heavyweight boxer. Like a guy who relies on a devastating knockout punch.
Right.
If you injure your hand in the first round and you lose that knockout power, you're suddenly very vulnerable.
Because you can't throw the haymaker anymore.
Right, so how do you survive the next 10 rounds?
You have to fundamentally change your identity mid-fight. You start working the body, fighting on the inside, winning on points. And that is exactly the adjustment Rodon made.
Yeah.
He realized the velocity wasn't there.
And usually, guys panic. Right?
Yeah. When a power pitcher loses velocity, their first instinct is to try and throw harder to compensate, which just destroys their mechanics and leads to pitches left right down the middle. Yeah. But Rodon swallowed his pride and decided to pitch to contact.
Pitching to contact instead of chasing the strikeout. So how did that look mechanically?
He became incredibly aggressive early in the count. He fired 18 first-pitch strikes to the 22 batters he faced.
Wow, 18.
Yeah, an 81.8% first-pitch strike rate. He was essentially telling the batter, here it is, hit it, but he was keeping the ball down in the dirt.
Getting those grounders.
Exactly. 9 of the 17 batted balls against him were grounders. He relied on his defense, like that huge clutch double play turned by Jazz Chisholm Jr.
It's pitching with your head when your arm is failing you. And he survived for 6 innings, which brings up a really interesting historical trend that Russell Carlton has been tracking about the quality start.
Oh, the quality start data is fascinating. So a quality start is a metric where a pitcher completes at least 6 innings while allowing 3 or fewer earned runs.
Go 6 innings, keep your team in the game. It's like the blue-collar job description of a pitcher.
Right. And for decades, from the 50s all the way to the mid-2010s, this happened in about 50% of all Major League games. It was the baseline expectation.
But not anymore.
No. By 2019, that number plummeted to just 30% because the modern analytical game, driven by front offices, realized there is a times through the order penalty.
Okay, what does that mean for the listener?
Basically, when a batter sees a pitcher for the 3rd time in a single game, the batter success rate skyrockets. Their brain has calibrated the release point and the pitch movement. So modern teams proactively pull their starters in the 6th inning to avoid that penalty.
They just bring in fresh bullpen arms throwing 100 miles per hour.
Exactly.
Which means the quality start is an endangered species. Yet the Yankees have an absurd 26 quality starts this season. Rodon's ugly, gritty survival outing was their 6th consecutive quality start.
They are blatantly defying the modern analytics that say you must pull your starter early. They are trusting the pitcher to adapt rather than relying on a spreadsheet.
They really are turning back the clock on the mound, and what is so fascinating is that they are doing the exact same thing at the plate with a homegrown trio that we haven't seen the likes of since the late 90s. If you're loving these sports deep dives, make sure you're subscribed. We've got even bigger stories coming up.
Yeah, when you look at the DNA of the great Yankees dynasties, particularly that 1990s era with Derek Jeter, Bernie Williams, Mariano Rivera, Andy Pettitte, that core was drafted and developed internally.
Right, but in the decades since, the franchise kind of became known for just buying elite talent on the free agent market.
They did. But the 2026 data shows a profound reversion to that original 90s blueprint.
The headline asking, when is the last time the Yankees had a homegrown trio this good, really puts it in perspective, because the answer is 2003. Let's look at the WAR leader's wins above replacement.
Which is basically the ultimate currency in baseball.
Right. It calculates exactly how many more wins a